That's 36,475. These investments LIC.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action of the stock markets and also with all the latest updates on the Adani Group stocks, which we've been tracking continuously since the report came out of Hindenburg on January 24th. Every day's move, and what are experts really asking all the investors to do at this point in time is something that has been our consistent focus. Even as we start off with the closing show, let's look at how the markets are trading at. High point of the day and a very sharp move on the upside. 944 points for the Sensex right now on the upside. 60,865 the current level. Look at the Nifty as well. 17,860. That's the level at which it is trading at, with 250 points of a gain. So 1.5% on the upside is what you can see the Nifty and the Sensex trading at. What's really supporting this kind of move? One is the sharp bounce that you've seen in some of the Adani Group stocks that have recovered. And apart from this, you also have the Nifty Bank that's really taking the rally from the front. Look at the Nifty Bank and its constituents and you will get to know what kind of move are we seeing. The Nifty Bank right now is up by 2% odd. So that's what that has led to this rally in the last 1 hour, 2 hours of trade. 819 points up for the Nifty Bank. 41,468 is what trading at right now. Look at the other stocks, especially the PSU banks. They have recovered quite sharply from the Nifty Bank constituents. 3% upside from that one. Private banks up by 1.5%. The financial services also taking the rally from the fund, 2.4% uptick from that one. Apart from this, it's the IT stocks, FMCG stocks as well that are supporting tad bit into the markets, and the metals have actually come back into the green. Remember, this is one index that was suffering very sharp low right in the first half of trading session, about 2%, 2.5% lower it was trading at. But right now, if you see, it's almost flattened out. It's sharply bounced from the lowest level of the day. So you can actually see a very sharp recovery coming in from that one. But the realty space still looks down. Pharma space still on the declining trend, and some of the media stocks are also down in trade. The market breadth has reversed. Advances 39 to 11 declines at this point. In terms of the top gainers right now, you do have Adani Ports that's climbed up as one of the top 5 gainers. It's up by 6%. Titan is up by 6.5%. Bajaj Twins, Finserv and Finance are up by over 5% each. HDFC Twins are also up by over 3%, and now you can also see some of the other stocks inching up higher as well. What's on the downside? Divis Laboratories, after the earnings, disappointing, definitely 11.5% down for this stock. Hindalco, BPCL, Tata Consumer Products, HDFC Life still down in trade as well. Let's welcome both our guests on the show. We do have with us Mr. Sunil Lamania joining in. He's the CIO at Markets Mojo, and also joining in for the technical take, Lovely Sharma, co-founder Market Feds. Welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Let me kickstart this discussion with you, Sunil, to understand, what do you make of this kind of a sharp move and a recovery that we've seen in the markets? Are the markets finally putting behind, the concerns from the Adani Group?
Hi, good afternoon, Sakshi. I think Adani Group, today definitely has bounced back, and its bounce back has happened in last 1.5 hour kind of a stuff. Otherwise, Adani Enterprise itself was down by 25-26% in the during the day. We don't have to read too much into this bounce back because we don't know whether this bounce back is sustainable or not sustainable. There are a lot of news that is going to come in, and depending upon the news flow, I think market and the group will basically fluctuate in a very different manner. So what has happened, I think last couple of days have been really eventful for Indian equity market. Why? Because on Monday, there was a concerns about whether Adani FPO will go through or not. And then we got some news. We got a news that Adani FPO did go through. Then we had budget, and post that we did get a Fed policy action where only 25 bips rate hike that has happened, which is something in line with what overall market was expecting. What has really come as a little surprise is that Fed may do rate hike, but not as high as what it used to do in the past, about 50 bips or 75 bips a kind of rate hike. Budget was extremely good. What really hampered market sentiment was Adani Group. And for some reason, if we get some positive news from the Adani Group, I think market will sustain. Budget overall has been extremely good. Valuations are
Yeah.
really. And even if you look at the economy survey, which has put a 1 point, which has taken a data of Nifty 50 5-year average of Nifty 50 valuation, we have substantial discount to that 5 years average of Nifty 50. So in terms of valuation, we are at good point. Budget has been really good, and this Fed related issue, which market always used to get a little concerns about, they are all behind the what we call
Sure.
our the reality mirror. So I think the market looks extremely promising. Every decline in the market should be used as an opportunity. But for
Okay.
Adani, only those who should get entered who are have a strong heart. If you are a weak heart,
Yeah.
please from Adani Group, because market movement could be either side, and
Yeah.
weak-hearted you might end up doing something which you are not supposed to do.
Okay, Adani Group stocks right now, despite the kind of a bounce, not for the weak-hearted right there. Lovelish, your take. What are you looking at in terms of the technical charts? The sharp bounce that we have seen, is it sustainable? Are you seeing some levels that may actually look at as a breakout from the zone that we've been seeing in the last 3 to 4 sessions? Lovelish, I think you're on mute.
Good afternoon, Sakshi. Right. Well, it has been a mayhem, to be very honest. And to consider this short term, or say spur of the moment, where we are seeing some short covering or some, recovery from the lower levels, it shouldn't be construed as one of the point where long term or even the short term investors should get in. I think the market is still absorbing the news, because this saga is going to go on continuously for next couple of days, and the volatility is going to remain elevated, especially in Adani Group stocks. Even
Correct.
if today, if you look at whole group of companies, you might see that only Adani Ports and ACC and Ambuja are the one which are still green, and they are up by almost 5 to 7%. But when you look at the other stocks, such as transmission, such as power, or such as ATGL, Adani Green, as well. These stocks are still down 5 to 10%. So there is still confusion, and people are still exiting the companies of the Adani Group. While there may be some short-term bounce, I don't believe the relief rallies, uh, the day today is marking the bottom in the Adani stocks. I think this will continue to go on. Any further negative news or any further negative development in the stock will further push short sellers for an opportunity to exit or short this particular stock.
Okay, Mr. Davania, you said that it's the stocks are not for the weak-hearted, but if there are very strong high-risk appetite investors out there who are looking at these mouth-watering valuations, perhaps after this sharp decline that we've seen 5, 6, 7 days now, which are the stocks that one should really look at? One for trading perspective and one for very very long perspective. Which are the stocks that still look promising and one can go ahead?
Within the Adani Group, you are asking me,
Yeah,
Sakshi.
yeah,
I think the two companies that one should definitely look at is Ambuja Cement and the ACC. Why this business are very rock solid. They are very good business. They have been acquired from very reputable wholesale group, and they are cash generating businesses. So I think if at all someone has to really go for some of the businesses within the Adani Group, I would recommend ACC and Ambuja Cement. But this is only for those who are strong hearted, because do expect these counters to also expect what you call see a lot of volatility in the price movement.
okay, understood that. But Lavlesh, in terms of the market, where should the traders really keep their focus on? Is it wise enough to look at Nifty Bank now versus Nifty, or should one just look at some specific stocks and sectors?
Right. See, I believe that the overall consolidation, the short-term consolidation which we have been seeing in Nifty, I think that has ended for now. Market has bottomed in the very
Yeah.
short term. I believe it has absorbed some of the major events of any economy, such as fiscal policy, budget, and whatnot, and also the cues coming out from the Western global market. So I think for now the market should be looked in a very specific range of 18,100 to 17,700 on the downside. While as far as sectors are concerned, I still believe that metals is one space where one can look at from FMCG, and that space I still believe ITC is one stock. It's a very minuscule rise for ITC of a 16%. but the way stock reacted and the dips being bought, I think ITC is one stock which should be looked at. Rather than going for overall bullish approach on sector, I still believe
Sure.
it is better to pay selective rather than being bullish on entire sector.
Okay, Mr. Damania, one side we've discussed ITC, you can also give your view there. But on the other hand, I wanted your view on Divis Laboratories today. What a sharp fall we've seen on this stock. 12% down, and definitely, after the earnings. Do you track this stock at all? And would you want to share your views?
Definitely, yes. ITC is a stock that we have recommended our investors almost a year back, and it has really given very good returns. So, and we continue to believe that ITC do extremely well, despite in the budget we saw NCCD, which has been hiked by 16%. Overall revenue that Government of India will get because of this NCCD of 16% hike would be near about 1,000 crore. And
Yeah.
if you assume that in India we have near about 5 crore smokers of cigarettes, we are talking about 200 rupees per annum per customer, which works out to about 15-20 rupees per month, which is not going to fund the demand for the cigarette consumption. And hence, we believe that fundamental story continues to be there for ITC. And second thing, there could be a value unlocking story that management did give an indication about when they could unlock some of the businesses into a separate company, which could unlock the value for the shareholders. So ITC remains a buy. It was a buy in our system. We recommend continue to remain buy. Divi's Lab, Sakshi, we were extremely bullish. And somewhere last year in November 2021, we changed our view on Divi's Lab because we thought that Divi's Lab margin would come under pressure.
Okay.
And since then, we have seen a lot of pressure continues to be there in Divi's Lab margin pressure. And we continue to believe even at this level, stock doesn't make any sense to get into. So while we are overall constructively positive on the pharma as a sector, I think
Yeah.
Divi's Lab kind of valuation it's commanding, the kind of growth now it's reporting, there is a little mismatch. And hence there could be a further more time in terms of price correction or time correction that can happen. And hence our advice would be to stay away from Divi's Lab.
Okay, but Mr. Damania, also to take your point forward, you said that the budget was excellent this time. Which are the pockets that have now become more interesting, and one should definitely keep their focus on post the budget? Is there any particular pocket that has become more interesting after the budget announcements?
Definitely, Sakshi. I think the one that really stood out and government and the Miss Nirmala Sitharaman spent a lot of time was on tourism. And I think this one segment that should do extremely well. The one there is a pent-up demand that has been happening. Second thing, government by new tax regime have put some more money in the hands of the customer. We all know that leave travel allowance, that concession that has happened has increased. So the tourism will one thing which should do extremely well. So whatever related to tourism, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a booking online platforms or travel company,
Yeah.
they do extremely well. Number two pocket is a capital goods and infra. Why? Because Government of India said in budget that they are going to spend 10 lakh crore, which accounts to about 3.3% of GDP on infra. And I think that sector is doing extremely do well. And some of the leaders in that space have not done so well. I think it's time to get into those kind of a company. Number three, I think with Adani episode coming in, I think there will be a premium that some of the so perceive good corporate governance, good corporate house would get it. And one sector which is completely without any corporate governance issue is IT. And if you remember, Sakshi, we spoke last
Yes.
month also about IT, and IT has done extremely well since then, and we continue to believe that IT story will. So I think people will pay premium where which are businesses are which is well governed, and there are no kind of an hanky panky with kind of stuff. So IT, tourism, and capital goods and infra, I think they should do extremely well post budget.
Okay, Lavlish, your thoughts on, say, Titan, for example. That stock has gone up very sharply today, of course, earnings factor, and then the gold prices that have been trading at all-time highs. Any of these kind of stocks which have, gold as their portfolio, that could become interesting now?
Right. See, when we talk about probably gold in a portfolio, I think Titan is one of the stock one should look at. So I wouldn't go to other. Why? Because of the simple fact that this has been in a continuous uptrend. It has been a wealth creator for last decade or so, and it is one of the stock where usually you want to see most of the portfolio being allocated to because of the kind of numbers it has, obviously, but the kind of trend it has performed. So I believe Titan at lower levels of 2464, where it is coming at, off from his recent highs. But I would suggest that one can look at Titan because of the simple fact it is at a very crucial support of his MAs, and it is sustaining those. So 2450, 2400 is an area where I would suggest that one can look at Titan to be added into their portfolio.
Right. Mr. Damania, we spoke about the three, pockets that you are now, you look at promisingly, after the budget. But perhaps the one casualty from the budget announcements would have been the insurance sector, just because of the tax exemption been going after that 5 lakh rupees premium. What is your thought on the insurance space going forward from here? How should investors who are holding on to some of the stocks really look at this pocket?
So I think the market seems to have really overreacted to this complete news of insurance. First thing, let me clarify for the benefit of every viewers is that this 5 lakhs is per annum, is not the 5 lakh premium that you pay for the tenure of that insurance policy. And how
Okay.
many Indians basically pay 5 lakh per annum as the only insurance premium? So that's a point number one. Point number two, for some reason, if you're still paying more than 5 lakhs per annum, okay, only the additional amount is going to get taxable. It's not the complete amount. Once you become to 01 lakhs, the complete 5.01 will become taxable. It's not going to be that. So I think market is reacted little overreacted or to this news. I think some of the companies have really come out and it's available at very good valuations. So my
Right.
advice would be to please go ahead and buy some of the good quality, well managed life insurance company. I do believe that life insurance has a great potential. And if you look at the kind of premium to the GDP, India would be among the lowest, even comparing some of the Southeast Asian countries. So I think the dip in the prices, it should be used as a good opportunity to get more life insurance companies in the portfolio.
All right, understood that. Apart from this, Lavlesh, your thoughts as to your particular picks that you have picked out today for investors to really look at specific stocks on your radar?
Right. See, we had two stocks. One of them was definitely ITC, and to be honest, I'll give a disclaimer. We have recommended this particular stock as well
Okay,
to our investors as well. I think
okay.
this stock anywhere near 350 to 370 zone is still a very good buy. There is a good breakout. The stock is above its 2022 highs. So I believe that yes, coming on to ITC, it's a buy, and one can look at from not just a short-term perspective. I think you are looking at, as Mr. Damani also said, that it's basically an unlocking in terms of say valuation or unlocking in terms of some story that is coming. But I still believe that this is a very long-term play, not just for a short term. Another stock which I would suggest, obviously, as my colleague also said, I think ACC and Ambuja both are at their 2017-18 high. They are very good company and they are very good. They have been acquired, but they still have a very good solid fundamentals. And as per technically, I would say they have tested their very crucial support, which was at 2017-2018 high, and this was pre their acquisition. So these two stocks, if anyone is looking to look for for a very short term perspective of 3 to 6 months, I would suggest Ambuja and ACC are those stocks which you can keep your eye on.
Okay, so ACC Ambuja, I think, is a consensus buy from both our panelists today. Thank you so much, Mr. Damania, and thank you so much, Lavlesh, for taking the time out and discussing with us all these different pockets of the markets and how should one really be approaching both the markets, several pockets, and the Adani Group stocks after this rout of 7 days. Finally, some relief for the investors right there. Many thanks for tuning in. Let's look at the levels of the markets also right now. 900 points up for the Sensex, 60,837. 240 points up for the Nifty 50, 17,852 is the current level. About 7 odd minutes for the markets to shut up, but we'll close this show and you can see us on the Hindi page also. Like, do subscribe to our Hindi channel as well, and we'll do the closing bit over there too. Many thanks for tuning in for now.